Let me ask you something. If you owed someone 528 million ounces of silver and you only had 102 million ounces in your vault, what would you do? That's not a hypothetical. That's the exact math sitting on the COMEX exchange right now. March 2026 delivery contracts represent 528 million ounces of silver that someone, somewhere, has promised to deliver. The silver actually available to deliver? 102 million ounces. That's a gap of 426 million ounces. And here's the part that keeps me up at night. March delivery is 3 weeks away. I'm Alexander. I've been tracking commodity flows for over a decade, and I'm about to show you why this specific number, this 528 to 102 mismatch, is the most dangerous piece of data in commodities right now. But first, I need you to understand something. This isn't a prediction that the sky is falling. This is an audit, a simple check of the books. And the books say someone is about to get squeezed so hard that we might finally see what the paper silver market is actually made of. Let's dive in. Here's how the COMEX works. Every silver futures contract represents 5,000 ounces of silver. When you buy a contract, you're not buying silver, you're buying a promise that someone will deliver you 5,000 ounces if you hold that contract until expiration. Right now, for March 2026, there are roughly 105,600 open contracts. Do the math. 105,600 contracts times 5,000 ounces each equals 528 million ounces. That's the demand. That's what people are legally entitled to if they stand for delivery. Now look at the supply side. COMEX registered inventory, the silver that's actually set aside, audited, and ready to ship, sits between 82 and 102 million ounces depending on the day you check. I'm using 102 to be generous. So let me read that back slowly. 528 million ounces of promises, 102 million ounces of metal. If just 20% of those contract holders say, "I want my silver," COMEX enters default territory. Historically, delivery requests run 1 to 3%, but January 2026, January saw 40 million ounces demanded, 20 to 40 times normal. Something shifted, and March is 3 weeks away. Here's where most people get silver wrong. They think it's just jewelry and coins. That's the old story. The new story is industrial. Silver is the most electrically conductive element on the planet. Every solar panel needs 20 grams. Every electric vehicle uses twice as much silver as a gas car. Every AI server rack runs on silver-based connections. Here's the number that matters. The Silver Institute reports 6 consecutive years of structural deficit. The world consumes more silver than it mines every single year for 6 years running. 2026 projected deficit, 200 million ounces. That's not a gap, that's a canyon. And here's the part that breaks the usual market logic. New silver mines take 7 to 10 years to develop. Even if every mining company on Earth started digging tomorrow, new supply doesn't arrive until 2033 at the earliest. So, you have industrial demand locked in by manufacturing contracts signed years ago, you have supply that can't respond quickly, and you have exchange inventories that have been draining for years. COMEX registered silver is down 75% since 2020. 300 million ounces then, 80 million now. That's not volatility, that's depletion. Now let me introduce you to someone you've probably never heard of. Beyond Zing, a Chinese billionaire trader. As of February 2026, Beyond Zing holds a short position of 450 metric tons of silver on the Shanghai Futures Exchange. That means he's bet the price will go down. Here's the problem. The entire Shanghai Exchange holds 318 metric tons of silver in its vaults. His short position exceeds every single ounce of silver on that exchange by 41%. Let that sink in. One trader, one position, is larger than the entire physical inventory of a major international exchange. And here's the twist that connects everything. In October 2025, Shanghai shipped a massive amount of silver to London to bail out the LBMA, which was facing its own delivery crisis. China saved the Western silver market. That silver never came back. Shanghai depleted its own surplus to prevent a default in London, and now Shanghai itself is underwater with a 450-ton short hanging over 318 tons of inventory. There's no one left to bail out Shanghai. No exchange has surplus inventory. No country is sitting on a secret stockpile waiting to ride in. January 29, 2026. Silver hits an all-time high of $121 per ounce. The next day, the CME raises margin requirements from 11% to 15%. By January 31st, silver crashes 35% in a single day, the worst single-day drop since 1980. 44 Indian silver trading firms in Rajkot declared insolvency that day. $425 million gone in hours. An entire trading hub devastated. Now watch what happened underneath the surface. The London Metal Exchange went dark pre-market. HSBC systems in Hong Kong went offline the same day. JP Morgan allegedly closed a massive short position at the exact bottom. Reuters published a story about the U.S. ending strategic metals support, a story the Energy Department later called deliberately misleading. That's a lot of coincidences for one 24-hour period. Market historians will tell you this is the exact same playbook used against the Hunt brothers in 1980. Raise margins, force liquidations, crash the price, let the big players cover at the bottom. But here's the difference between 1980 and 2026. In 1980, the physical silver existed. The Hunts were just hoarding it. In 2026, the physical silver isn't there. You can crash the paper price all you want. You can raise margins. You can force liquidations. But you cannot create physical silver that doesn't exist. January 1, 2026, China reclassifies silver as a strategic material and imposes export restrictions. Immediately, lease rates spike above 8%. Physical premiums in Shanghai hit $8 per ounce over COMEX. China is the world's largest silver supplier, and they just turned off the tap. This isn't temporary, it's strategic. China is hoarding silver for its own domestic solar and EV industry. The same way they've controlled rare earths for decades, they're now controlling silver. The global supply chain didn't just tighten, it fractured. Here's what sophisticated money is doing. The Sprott Physical Silver Trust announced January 20th they doubled their capital raise to $2 billion. At $110 an ounce, that's 18 million ounces of buying power, 16% of COMEX registered inventory. One fund, 16% of the exchange. Meanwhile, SLV, the paper-backed ETF, is seeing outflows, but SILV and PSLV, the physically backed trusts, are seeing inflows. The smart money isn't trusting paper claims anymore. They're demanding allocated bullion. So what actually happens if COMEX or Shanghai can't deliver in March? I see three scenarios. None are comfortable for the current system. Scenario 1, cash settlement. The exchange pays cash instead of delivering metal. The paper price becomes fiction. Physical silver disconnects from futures permanently. Shanghai and Hong Kong become the real price discovery mechanism. Scenario 2, delivery failure. Contracts simply aren't honored. Legal chaos erupts. The credibility of the entire futures market is destroyed. This has never happened. If it does, the ripple effects go far beyond silver. Scenario 3, forced liquidation. The exchange implements liquidation-only rules, just like 1980. The price crashes short-term as positions are forcibly closed, but then it explodes because the underlying physical shortage hasn't gone anywhere. Analyst Bill Holter put it bluntly, if delivery failure occurs in March 2026, it will trigger currency devaluation and collapse of the entire credit-based financial system. That sounds extreme, but here's what I know. The real economy relies on credit. If credit becomes inaccessible because the collateral backing it vanishes, the real economy stops. Look, I've been doing this for a decade. I've read hundreds of delivery reports. I've watched inventory cycles come and go. I've seen that this time is different narrative 100 times, and 99 times it wasn't. But I have never seen both major global exchanges stressed simultaneously. I have never seen China restrict exports while facing its own inventory shortfall. I have never seen 6 consecutive years of structural deficit collide with a 4-to-1 paper-to-physical ratio. The January 29th crash proved the system's only defense is to change the rules, raise margins, crash the price, buy time. But that defense doesn't create physical silver, it just kicks the can. March 2026 might be the month the can runs out of road, or maybe they find a way to kick it to May, then July, then September. But the structural deficit doesn't fix itself. The industrial demand doesn't slow down. The mines that don't exist can't produce silver that the world needs. I'm not here to tell you to buy or sell anything. I'm here to show you the math. 528 million ounces demanded, 102 million available. You decide what that math means. If you want me to dig into gold next, or copper, or what the central banks are really doing, drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.